Hi there, welcome back to my second episode in the review of the new Land Rover Defender. And today I'm going to be having a look at the inside of the car, but also parking it up alongside my 2009 110 Defender to give it a bit of a side-by-side comparison. And just to remind you, I'm not a motoring journalist. I'm just a guy who likes Land Rovers and has managed to collect a few over the years. Okay, back to what we're here for and a quick comparison before we go inside the car. On the right hand side, we've got my 110 2.4 litre Puma engine Defender, 135 brake horsepower. The new Defender P300 is so called because it has 300 brake horsepower. And that is pretty awesome from a 2 litre engine. So I'm sat in the back of the new Defender, and it's not an uncomfortable place to be. The materials that they've used is a bit like sort of neoprene maybe. Very tactile. Nice grab handle here. A bit wobbly. We've got a window which I imagine goes all the way down with this smaller static quarter light, I suppose you would say, at the back. Plenty of storage, air conditioning, lots of legroom. Impressed with the legroom because the seats are back in the front seats are all the way back. I think those are designed so you've got a hook on there as well. Grab handles up here. In the back we've got the Alpine windows, and you can see again in the same way that the doors are a lot thicker. You've got quite a lot of thickness. Not sure how much light. We've got some light coming through. I'm not sure how much difference they actually make. It's more of a design feature probably. Rear window is quite rounded actually, look at that. Again, I suppose that's because of the width of the pillars and the monocoque design of the body. But I must say, when you're inside the car, because of its design, you don't really notice the square thing from the inside. Now, I did take the mickey out of this when I first saw the designs. It takes its inspiration from the new Defender, as you can see. But it's not harnessed by it. But do you know what? Without anything else on here, it does break up this big, long, black oblong. I can see that it's not actually obscuring anything. If anything, it's disguising the large internal pillars. Don't need one on an old Defender. And you know what? I wasn't sure about those in pictures in the press, but they're not bad in real life. Yes, you've got the hip design followed through as a design feature, but they're not offensive. And you've still got the slab rear end. Which brings me on to my least favourite bit of the car, the filler cover. I mean, look at the size of it. It's like one of those swimming paddles I had as a teenager. It's just crazy big. And it's a fairly horrible plasticky piece. Not quite sure why it's so big. Back seats are in a classic 1/3, 2/3 configuration, and you can fold those down. It doesn't look like they go completely flat, but they certainly make for a bigger space in here. Cup holder in the back. And the seat belts either side of the rear door show that this one's got a third row under the boot there. Cup holders. I do like the finish. I do like it. Some saddle tan leather would be good. I don't think that's an option. If you don't want the drinks holders, there's this rubber cap which you can put on top. And under the armrest, you've got a refrigerated cubby here, and contactless charger for your smartphone. Cubby switches on like that. Should have really put my can of drink in there. Now, people have complained about the plastic trim. To be honest, do you know what? It's no less sturdy than the air filter trim on the old Defender. And as for the plastic checker plate, I know it's a design cue. You certainly wouldn't want to stand on it. But would you want to stand on the bonnet of the car anyway? It's all slippery and slidey, you probably couldn't get up there. There's no bumper at the front to stand on. As you walk around the car, you see a lot of these little cameras everywhere. This is how they do the 3D imagery. You can see under the wing mirror there's another camera. This bit of trim here is just for show. I mean, I think it's just to follow the line along and break out the expanse of that. And the badge on the front is actually quite big, bigger than the original badge. And if we look up under the wheel arches, you'll see that this is a brand new car. No dirt under there at all. It's got the preformed wheel arch system that a lot of modern cars have. No doubt very light, probably all you need really for school car parks. With the black roof, the Alpine windows on the outside don't really show up. I think the white roof will show them off better. Now let's put them side by side again. I was asked to park them next to each other because I was told there's not many pictures of the old one and the new one together. Perhaps that's because of the strong feelings that owners of the old one have. I don't know, but I think that once you park them together, you do begin to see the genetic code come through. And I go back to the analogy I made about the Porsches. Imagine putting a Porsche 911 from the 80s next to the most modern one. The earlier car on the left would clearly look worlds apart from the newer car on the right. With the Defender, the new Defender, in comfort setting, so this is the sort of normal drive height, it is actually smaller than the old 110, certainly height-wise. You're not going to have any problem with car parks. It's also slightly longer than the original 110. It's also a lot quieter. The engine's running at the moment. I think they're both undeniably handsome in their own way. I mean, there's not another 4x4, modern 4x4 on the road quite like the new Defender, I don't think anyway. You know, a lot of people joke about it looking like a Nissan Cube or various other things, but it is its own car. And again, I'm not just saying that. I've now had a chance to have a good look round it, to drive it, to park it next to the old one, and I would have one. I've still got a deposit on one. It definitely needs some better rubber on those wheels though. You know, the old Defender is just utilitarian. Huge, vast space inside there, but the panels are a couple of millimeters thick inside the rear of the new one. It's certainly got a lot of space. 1,000 litres with the seats up. But yeah, you get the thickness down to modern safety standards. You've got to remember it's a modern car. At least to be easy to remove the panels. There's no Christmas tree fastenings here like in the old one. I think the distance between the tyre and the top of the wheel arch isn't so much an articulation one on the new Defender, because you've seen pictures of them doing over the top of a bump, and they're designed to lift the wheel off the ground. This is purely to do with ground clearance in ruts and wading depth. It's not an articulation issue as far as I can see. Whereas obviously in the old Defender, articulation is a key. But let me be clear, if I was thinking about getting a new Defender, I certainly wouldn't be getting rid of either of my existing original ones. Do you know what? Parked up the three of them, I really quite like the look of the new one. It's a tough call. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. But enough of looking at it from outside. I want to get behind the wheel again and have another drive before I have to take it back to the showroom. Once again, if you've enjoyed this episode and the content on my channel, hit subscribe now so you are the first to know about the final episode and all future content. Thanks for watching.